My dad's wedding surprise was unbelievable. He accidentally booked the same venue, same day for his secret daughter's wedding. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's video, I need your help. We've noticed that the channel is losing traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue bringing you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Thank you very much. Now let's begin the video. Hello everyone. My name is Deborah, and I am 28 years old. My husband, Cameron, is 30. We have been together for 6 wonderful years and finally got married last month. Or at least we tried to get married. Let me explain, because Reddit, this is a story for the books, seriously. My family was pretty normal. I grew up with my parents, Michael and Susan, and my older brother, Jeremy, who is 32. We were your average suburban family. Sunday dinners, summer vacations, the whole shebang. My dad is a real estate agent, always cheerful and outgoing. My mom is a teacher, calm and organized. Jeremy is a lawyer, very serious and focused, a bit of a know-it-all if you ask me, but still family. So Cameron and I planned our wedding for about a year. We wanted a beautiful venue, and we found this amazing place just outside of the city. It was a gorgeous estate with gardens, a ballroom, everything you could dream of. It wasn't cheap, but we saved up and my parents chipped in a bit, which was incredibly generous of them. We booked the date, sent out invitations, and everything was set. The day arrived and it started perfectly. I woke up excited, got ready with my bridesmaids, the hair, the makeup, the dress, all the girly stuff. Cameron was getting ready with his groomsmen, probably panicking a little, but he's good at hiding it. We got to the venue, and it was even more beautiful than I remembered. The flowers were blooming, the sun was shining, everything was picture perfect. The ceremony was lovely. I walked down the aisle, tried not to trip, said my vows, Cameron said his, we exchanged rings, the whole traditional wedding thing. Then came the reception. Dinner was served, people were mingling, dancing started, everything was going according to plan. My dad, Michael, he loves the spotlight. He asked the DJ if he could say a few words, which is pretty standard. Fathers of the bride do speeches, right? No problem there. He got up on the little stage, tapped the microphone, and started talking. He thanked everyone for coming, said how happy he was for Cameron and me, how beautiful I looked, all the usual father of the bride speech stuff. And then he said something that made everyone in the room stop and stare. He said, and I quote, "I'm especially happy to share this special day with all of you, and also with another very special group celebrating a very important occasion just down the hall. We are sharing this wonderful venue today with another family who are also celebrating a wedding. In fact, it is my other daughter's wedding." Reddit, I swear the music stopped. Everyone went silent. I froze. Cameron looked at me confused. My mom, sitting at the head table, went pale. My brother Jeremy choked on his wine. Other daughter? What other daughter? I am an only daughter. Jeremy is my only sibling. My dad continued, oblivious to the stunned silence he had created. He said something like, "Yes, it is a bit of a funny story actually, a bit of a mix-up with the venue booking, but we are all family here in one way or another. Let's give a big round of applause for my daughter, Sarah, and her new husband, Mark, who are celebrating their wedding just in the adjacent ballroom." Adjacent ballroom. There is an adjacent ballroom. I had no idea. Neither did anyone else in my family, apparently. My mom stood up so fast her chair almost tipped over. She looked like she was about to explode. Jeremy was just staring at my dad with his mouth open. Cameron was whispering to me, "Deborah, what is going on?" And I honestly had no clue. I was completely blindsided. My dad, still smiling like nothing was wrong, gestured towards a side door in the ballroom. He said, "Why don't we all take a moment to congratulate Sarah and Mark? I'm sure they would love to say hello." My mom marched towards my dad, grabbed his arm and pulled him off the stage. She hissed something in his ear that I couldn't hear, but it looked intense. My dad's smile finally faltered. He looked shocked, then worried, then just completely deflated. My mom dragged him out of the ballroom, through that side door he had pointed to. Jeremy and I just stood there, stunned. Cameron put his arm around me, trying to comfort me, but I was beyond comforting at that point. My wedding reception had just turned into a Jerry Springer episode, live and in person. After a few minutes of awkward silence, Jeremy, being the lawyer, decided to take charge. He said to Cameron and me, "Stay here. I'm going to see what the hell is going on." He followed my mom and dad through the side door. I was left standing there in my wedding dress, surrounded by bewildered guests, wondering if I was hallucinating. It felt like a dream, or more like a nightmare. My perfect wedding day was crumbling around me, all thanks to my dad and his mysterious other daughter. About 10 minutes later, Jeremy came back. He looked like he had seen a ghost. He pulled Cameron and me aside into a quieter corner of the ballroom. He lowered his voice and said, "Okay, you are not going to believe this. But it is true, Dad has another family. Another wife, another daughter, the whole package. Apparently this has been going on for years. Years, I felt like I was going to faint. Another wife, another daughter, my dad. Mr. Cheerful real estate agent, secret bigamist." It was insane. Jeremy explained what he had gathered. Apparently years ago, before I was even born, my dad had an affair. A long-term affair with a woman named Patricia, and this Patricia had a daughter, Sarah. My dad has been secretly supporting them, financially and emotionally, for all these years. He even, apparently, accidentally booked this venue for Sarah's wedding on the same day as mine. He thought he had booked it for the day after, but he mixed up the dates. And instead of telling anyone, instead of fixing it, he just decided to, keep it a secret and hope for the best. Hope that no one would notice. Hope that 2 weddings in the same venue, same day, wouldn't cause any problems. The sheer stupidity of it was mind-boggling. Jeremy said that my mom was absolutely furious, as you can imagine. She was in the other ballroom, having a very heated discussion with my dad and this Patricia woman. Sarah, the other daughter, was apparently also completely shocked. She had no idea about my mom and me and Jeremy. She thought my dad was just some rich uncle who was helping her family out. She had no idea he was her actual father or that he was married to someone else. It was a mess, a complete and utter mess. Cameron, bless his heart, was trying to be supportive. He kept asking me if I was okay, if I needed anything. I just shook my head numb. My wedding reception was still going on around me. People were still dancing and eating cake, but I felt like I was in a completely different world. The world where my dad was a secret bigamist and I had a sister I never knew existed. It was too much to process. Eventually, my mom came back into our ballroom. She looked like she had been crying, but she was trying to hold it together. She walked straight up to me, hugged me tightly, and said, "Deborah, I am so sorry. This is all my fault." "No, Mom, it is not your fault," I said, confused. "What are you talking about?" She shook her head. "No," she said, "it is my fault for staying with him all these years. I should have left him a long time ago, but I stayed for you and Jeremy. And now look what has happened." She explained that she had known about Patricia for years. She found out about the affair a long time ago, but she decided to stay with my dad for the sake of the family. She thought she could make it work. She thought she could forgive him. She was wrong. She never truly forgave him, and he never truly stopped lying. And now here we were, at my wedding, with his secret second family crashing the party, literally. My mom told me that she was done. She was leaving my dad. Right then and there, she said she couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't pretend anymore. She was going to file for divorce. On my wedding day, talk about timing. Jeremy was trying to calm her down, telling her to not make any rash decisions, but she was adamant. She was done. My dad eventually came back too, looking like a kicked puppy. He tried to talk to my mom, to apologize, to explain, but she wouldn't even look at him. She just turned her back and walked away. He then tried to talk to me, to Cameron, to Jeremy, but we all just ignored him. What was there to say? He had blown up my wedding, destroyed my family, and revealed a shocking secret that no one wanted to know. The rest of the wedding reception was a blur. People were whispering, staring, trying to figure out what was going on. Some guests left early, feeling awkward. Some stayed, trying to be supportive. Cameron and I tried to salvage the evening to pretend that everything was normal, but it was impossible. The atmosphere was completely ruined. My perfect wedding day had turned into a complete disaster. Eventually, Cameron and I just left. We couldn't take it anymore. We said goodbye to our guests, thanked them for coming, and escaped to our hotel room. We spent our wedding night talking, trying to process everything that had happened. It was surreal. It felt like we were in a movie, a really bad soap opera. My dad, the secret bigamist. My mom, the abandoned wife. My secret sister, the other bride. It was too much. The next day, we woke up to even more chaos. My phone was blowing up with messages and calls. Family members, friends, even distant acquaintances were calling to ask what had happened at the wedding. News had spread like wildfire. Everyone was talking about my dad's secret family. It was embarrassing and humiliating. My mom moved out of the house and stayed with Jeremy for a few days. She was serious about the divorce. She hired a lawyer and started the proceedings. My dad was trying to contact her to apologize, to beg her to reconsider, but she wouldn't talk to him. Jeremy and I were caught in the middle, trying to support both of our parents while also dealing with our own shock and confusion. I eventually met my half-sister, Sarah. It was awkward, to say the least. We met for coffee, just the two of us. She was as shocked and confused as I was. She told me that she had always known Patricia was a single mom, and that my dad was just a family friend who helped them out. She had no idea he was her father, or that he was married to someone else. She was getting married to Mark, her fiancé, and she was happy, but this whole situation had thrown her for a loop too. We talked for a long time. Sarah and we found out we actually had a lot in common. We were both teachers, we both loved to read, we both had a slightly sarcastic sense of humor. It was weird, but also kind of nice to connect with her. She was a victim in all of this too, just like my mom and me and Jeremy. She had been lied to her whole life, just like we had. Over the next few weeks, things slowly started to settle down a little. My parents were still going through the divorce, which was messy and painful. My dad moved into a small apartment and was trying to rebuild his life, whatever that meant. My mom was trying to move on, to heal, and to start over. Jeremy and I were trying to support them both, while also navigating our own feelings about everything. Sarah and I stayed in touch. We started texting and calling each other regularly. We even met up for lunch a few times. It was strange, having a sister I had just met, but it was also kind of cool. We bonded over our shared experience, over our messed up dad, and over our desire to just move forward and create our own families, without all the secrets and lies. Cameron and I went on our honeymoon a few weeks later. We needed to escape all the family drama and just focus on ourselves, on our new marriage. We went to Italy, which was amazing. We ate pasta, drank wine, saw beautiful sights, and tried to forget about the wedding disaster. It helped a little. When we came back, things were still complicated, but they were also a little better. My parents were still divorced, but they were starting to communicate again, civilly, for Jeremy's and my sake. My dad was trying to make amends, to apologize to everyone, but it was going to take a long time to rebuild trust, if that was even possible. My mom was slowly starting to heal, to find her own strength and independence again. Sarah and Mark were happily married, despite the wedding day drama. Sarah and I were becoming real sisters, building a genuine connection, despite the bizarre circumstances of our first meeting. It was all still messy and complicated, but there was a glimmer of hope, a sense that maybe, eventually, things would be okay. It has been a few months since the wedding now. My parents are still divorced, but they are coexisting. My dad is still trying to make amends. My mom is starting to date again, which is kind of weird but also good for her. Jeremy is still being the responsible older brother, trying to keep everyone together. Cameron and I are happily married, despite the rocky start. And Sarah and I are actually friends, sisters in a way. Reddit, I know this is a long and crazy story. I still can't believe it all happened. My wedding day, the day that was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, turned into a family drama explosion. But in a weird way, maybe it was also a turning point. It forced everything out into the open, the secrets, the lies, the pain. And maybe, by facing it all, we can all start to heal and move forward in our own separate ways, but also maybe, in some strange way, together. I am still processing everything, to be honest. It is a lot to take in. But I am trying to focus on the positive, on my marriage, on my new sister, on my mom's newfound independence. And maybe, just maybe someday, my family will be normal again. Or maybe not normal, but at least functional. And maybe, just maybe, I can forgive my dad eventually. But that is going to take a lot of time. Should I just let it go? Is it even possible to forgive something like this? Reddit, what do you think? Update 1. Wow, Reddit, I never thought so many people would read my situation and offer advice. Thank you all for your comments and support. It has been really helpful to read your perspectives and know that I am not alone in dealing with family drama. Many of you asked for an update, so here it is. First of all, thank you for all the kind words about Cameron. Yes, he is amazing. He has been so supportive throughout all of this, and I am so grateful to have him by my side. He really is the best. And yes, we are still happily married despite the wedding day chaos. We are focusing on building our own life together and trying not to let family drama consume us. Many of you suggested therapy, both for myself and for my family. That is definitely something we are considering. My mom has actually already started seeing a therapist, and she says it is helping her a lot. I think Jeremy and I will probably join her at some point, and maybe even my dad if he is willing. It is definitely something we need to work through as a family, even if we are all a bit fractured right now. Some of you asked about Sarah and her wedding reception. Well, after our wedding reception imploded, hers kind of did too. Apparently, once everyone realized what was going on, her guests were just as shocked and confused as ours. She and Mark ended up cutting their reception short as well. It was a double wedding disaster, but she and Mark are doing well. They are happily married, and they are trying to move on from the wedding day drama, just like Cameron and me. Sarah and I have been talking a lot more. We are really bonding as sisters. It is still weird to think of her as my sister since I just found out about her, but it is also really nice. We are planning to meet up again soon, maybe go shopping or get our nails done, sisterly things. It is kind of amazing to think that I gained a sister out of all of this mess. My mom is doing better slowly but surely. She is enjoying her newfound independence and freedom. She has joined a book club and started taking yoga classes. She is rediscovering herself after years of being married to my dad. It is inspiring to see her taking charge of her life and moving forward. My dad, on the other hand, is still struggling. He is living in his small apartment, feeling sorry for himself. He has tried to apologize to my mom multiple times, but she is not ready to forgive him yet, and honestly, I don't blame her. He has also tried to talk to me and Jeremy, but we are still pretty distant with him. It is hard to just forget about everything he has done. He has broken our trust, and it is going to take a long time to rebuild that if it is even possible. Some of you asked if I am angry at my dad. Yes, I am. I am angry and hurt and betrayed. He lied to us for years, he kept a huge secret from us, and he ruined my wedding day. But I am also trying to understand him a little bit. I know he made mistakes, big mistakes, but he is still my dad. And I know deep down, he does love me in his own messed up way. I'm not sure if I can ever fully forgive him, but I am willing to try, eventually. For now, I'm just keeping my distance and focusing on my own life and my own healing. So that is the update so far. Things are still complicated and messy, but they are slowly getting better. Thank you again for all your support and advice, Reddit. It really means a lot. I will post another update if anything else significant happens. Update 2. Hello again, Reddit. Another update on the wedding day drama and my secret sister saga. Things have progressed a bit since my last update, and surprisingly in some positive directions. First, my dad. He has actually started going to therapy. Jeremy convinced him to go, and apparently it is helping. He is starting to understand the impact of his actions and the pain he has caused. He is also starting to take responsibility for his mistakes, which is a big step for him. He has apologized to my mom again, and while she is still not ready to reconcile, she is at least starting to talk to him more civilly. They even had dinner together last week, just the two of them, which is a huge improvement. It is still a long road to forgiveness, but at least they are communicating again. My relationship with my dad is still strained, but it is also slowly improving. He has been making an effort to reach out to me and Jeremy, to apologize, to talk, to just be present in our lives. We are still keeping our distance emotionally, but we are also trying to be open to his efforts. It is hard to just shut him out completely. He is still our dad after all. And I think deep down, we both want to forgive him eventually. Sarah and I are becoming even closer. We have been spending more time together, going out for dinners, movies, even a weekend trip to the beach. It is amazing how quickly we have bonded. It really feels like we are sisters, like we have known each other our whole lives. We talk about everything, our families, our jobs, our relationships, everything. She is such a great person, and I am so grateful to have her in my life. We even joke about our dad and his double life sometimes. Humor is definitely a good coping mechanism. My mom is thriving. She is really embracing her independence and enjoying her new life. She is dating again, casually, and she seems happy and confident. She is also spending more time with her friends and pursuing her hobbies. It is like she has rediscovered herself after all these years. It is really inspiring to see her so strong and resilient. Cameron and I are doing great. Our marriage is strong, and we are more in love than ever. We have learned to navigate family drama together, and it has actually made us even closer. We are planning our first anniversary trip, and we are excited for our future together. The wedding day was a disaster, but our marriage is definitely not. So overall, things are actually looking up. The family drama is still there, but it is slowly starting to resolve. My parents are communicating. My dad is in therapy. Sarah and I are sisters. my mom is thriving, and Cameron and I are happily married. It is not a perfect ending, and there is still a lot of healing to do, but it is definitely a positive direction. To answer my own question from my original post, yes, I think it is possible to forgive eventually. It takes time and it takes effort, and it takes a lot of therapy, but it is possible. And maybe, just maybe, out of all this mess, our family can actually become stronger in a weird, unconventional way. We are all learning and growing and changing, and maybe that is not such a bad thing after all. Thank you again, Reddit, for listening to my story and offering your support. It has been a wild ride, but I think we are finally starting to reach a better place. I will keep you updated if anything else happens, but for now, things are relatively calm, and for that, I am grateful. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.